Now we're going to talk about goal setting. So we've got you here, you've got a great booth space, you're ready to talk to everybody. Now let's talk about how we set goals for our booth space. What are we going to get out of our weekend? So when you set goals, you want to make sure that they're specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound. So those are SMART goals, and I think, in my opinion, everyone should have goals for life in general, but I would say you should definitely have goals for your business, and then on top of it, you should set goals for the weekend. So you're all investing to be here, and what are your expectations? What would you like to get out of the show? When you set goals, we have found that you have a much higher chance of success. And the reason you have a higher chance of success is because it's really changed your mindset. So you are going into the weekend saying, my goal is I'm going to get 10 solid leads out of this weekend. My goal is I'm going to get 2 catering jobs. My goal is that I'm going to sell 1 furnace. If you have something that's specific, your mind is going to work to achieve that. If you have something that is like, well, we'll just see how the weekend turns out, I don't know. At the end of the weekend, if we come up to you and say, hey, was the show a success? You're not going to know if it was a success because you're not going to have had those set expectations. It changes your attitude. One of the things that we'll do is we'll walk around and say, hey, how are you doing on your goals? If your goal is to get 10 leads today and you've gotten 8 and you've got another hour, like how can we get those 2 more leads for you? So really, your attitude is going to change and your ability to accomplish those is going to really just increase. Your focus will be changed. Instead of saying, well, I think maybe I'm just going to go take a break, I'm so tired, you're going to say, yeah, but I only have 2 more to go. Like I could totally get there. I can reach those numbers. So your focus will be different. Now, there are different types of goals that you could set for the weekend. One of them is exposure. Obviously, we're going to have thousands of people coming through, and exposure is very good. Like we were talking about with top-of-mind awareness, exposure creates that, and that's extremely valuable. You might decide over the course of the weekend that you have a goal that you'd like to get maybe 50 or 100 new names added to your mailing list or email list. So that can be a very valuable goal and can be quite profitable for your organization. Networking is a goal that I think most people don't think about setting that I would recommend highly to you. If you're a home and garden professional, you're going to be there with great strategic partners. Walk around the event, introduce yourself to people, try to find out who is at the event that you might be able to refer back and forth to. We have heard over the years so many times that great strategic partnerships have been made, and sometimes our exhibitors will get more from their strategic partnerships than maybe they got from the attendees. And what's so nice about it is that you are there all weekend. You're not just walking through and saying hello. You have an opportunity to build real relationships with people, and that's what's really important about networking. We also do a mixer for our exhibitors on Saturday at 5 o'clock after the show, so I would invite all of you to come to that. We'll have some wine and hors d'oeuvres, and it's just a great time to network if you don't have time during the day. You have an opportunity to perfect your marketing message. So you're out at the show. What verbiage are you using on banners? What verbiage are you using on like brochures and printed materials? You might even decide that you're working on perfecting your selling approach. If somebody walks up and you say, well, hey, we've got this package and it's blah, 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 and they just glaze over, that doesn't work for you. If they walk up and you try a different technique, that could work and it could be great. So it really, and I've had this happen several times where exhibitors will say, gosh, you know, I didn't realize people had so many questions about this segment of my business. So when you're talking about marketing your company, it's really good to find out what people are interested in, and this show will give you the opportunity to do that. So you may want to set a goal in that area. Developing a marketing campaign. I have an exhibitor who has a brand new product, and they brought it to the show and they were so excited, and they bought a display of it and they got all this promotional material, and he's like, nobody even looked at it. It wasn't even a blip on their radar. Well, you know, it turns out that that was not a good product fit for him, and at the show he was able to figure out what product sold better. So you might decide that you want to do that, and then you'll be able to market it more heavily. Obviously, we are going to encourage you to collect leads. So you're going to be there that weekend. Make sure that you're collecting leads. Some people come to the show and they don't collect any information. Well, they leave and they aren't sure, you know, if anybody's going to call them. What we hear too many times is people saying things like, Oh, I gave out lots of business cards. Well, that's great if you gave out lots of business cards. And I'm not saying you shouldn't give out business cards, but you want their information because you can be proactive if you're getting their information. If you're not getting their information, you can't be proactive. So collecting leads is really, really important. And when I say collecting leads, names, phone numbers, addresses, email addresses, get as much information as you possibly can from them. We would really encourage you to set appointments with people. If you've got somebody there and they're really interested in your product, say, you know what, I'm going to be out in your area on Monday. When could I come out? Or would Tuesday work better for you? Get them solidified with an appointment. We all know that once somebody leaves, it's much more difficult to get them pulled back in. So if they're there and they're interested, do your best to set an appointment. We've had exhibitors who will leave shows with tons of appointments set. And I'm always impressed with that because their closing ratio from the event is going to be much higher when they have those set appointments. So make sure you're setting appointments. And then obviously I would set a goal for sales. How much do you want to get out of the show in sales? I mean, that's really important. And now when you're looking at achieving your success goals, especially for sales, you want to look at your numbers. So sales really is a numbers game. How many leads versus how many appointments versus how many closes do you need to get? And if you are not currently tracking this, I would really recommend that you do so. So when you look at leads, how many names, phone numbers, information is coming into your business via whatever lead source you might have, and then how many of those leads can you convert into an appointment, and then how many of those appointments can you convert into closes. So if your goal over the course of the weekend is like, I want to sell $10,000 for a home and garden professional, gourmet maybe 10,000 might be a little lofty, but I want to sell $10,000 in garage doors or air conditioning units, and I know that in order to get to that $10,000 in sales, I'm going to go out on at least 10 appointments, and I know to get 10 appointments, I need to get at least 50 leads. So if you can work backwards with the numbers, that'll help you set those goals. The other thing that's really important is to communicate your goals to everyone working in the booth space. So if you're the business owner and you've got these lofty goals and you've never communicated them to any of the staff working your booth space, that isn't going to be effective. On the flip side, if you're an employee, make sure that you're going back to the business owner and saying, hey, we should set some goals for this weekend. Every person working in your booth space should have a goal that weekend. They should have a goal for how much you want them to do in terms of collecting names and phone numbers, collecting leads, setting appointments. So make sure that you have those numbers set. And really, it's a process of having that person own that goal. So make sure that's happening.